All right, let's talk about something that drives so many of us crazy. You feel like you're doing everything right, you're counting the calories, you're hitting the gym, but that number on the scale just refuses to budge. Well, if that sounds familiar, this is for you. We are about to tear down the most common piece of weight loss advice in the world and find out why it might actually be the very thing holding you back.
I mean, come on. We've all heard this a million times, right? It's the first thing everyone says. It sounds so simple, so logical. Create a calorie deficit and poof, the weight just disappears. But what if that's not the whole story? What if it's not even the right story?
I know that sounds pretty dramatic. But if you've been on that hamster wheel of dieting and exercise with nothing to show for it, you've probably suspected something else is going on. And you're right. The truth is, that advice isn't just a little off, it's fundamentally flawed. And I want you to hear this. It is not your fault that it's not working.
Okay, so to really get why, we need to make a huge mental shift. We've got to stop looking at extra weight as the problem we need to fix. We need to start seeing it for what it actually is. And this next idea, honestly, it changes everything.
Just let that one sink in for a second. Read it again. This is the big aha moment. For years, we've been chasing this whole thing completely backwards. Trying to force weight loss on a body that's unhealthy is like trying to fix a noisy engine by just turning up the radio. You're ignoring the flashing check engine light.
And that's exactly what that stubborn fat is. It's not a failure of your willpower, it's a signal. It's your body's way of communicating, of screaming, hey, something in here is not right. That extra weight is just a symptom of a much deeper problem. And that problem is almost always inflammation. So this means we've been asking the completely wrong question all along. We go online and we type in, how do I lose weight? When the real question, the one that actually gets to the root of the problem is, how do I lower my insulin? Because as we're about to see, there's one hormone that's basically running the whole show. So let's meet the main character in our metabolic drama. It's a hormone called insulin. And when it comes to losing fat, well, insulin acts less like a helpful friend and a lot more like a playground bully. It's a simple way to think about it, but it's so accurate. Imagine your fat-burning hormones are kids in a playground, ready to do their job. But when the bully, insulin, shows up and starts stomping around, what do? They run and hide. They literally cannot do their job until that bully leaves the playground. So here's how that cycle plays out in your body. Step 1, you eat certain foods, especially sugars and refined carbs, that make your insulin levels spike way up. Step 2, when insulin is high, it's like a drill sergeant yelling, store fat, store fat. That becomes your body's #1 priority. This whole process ramps up inflammation, and boom, step 4, your fat-burning hormones are shut down. It's a total vicious cycle. And this is the missing piece of the puzzle. This is why you can starve yourself and run for miles and still not see a change. Because if your insulin is always high, it doesn't matter. Your body is biochemically locked in fat storage mode. The bully never leaves the playground. Now look, this isn't just some neat theory. Let's look at a real-world story that shows just how incredibly powerful this hormonal approach really is. This story starts when a guy was just 23 years old. You know, an age where you're supposed to feel completely invincible. But instead of being at his peak, he was heading straight for a massive health crisis. His body's check engine light wasn't just flashing, it was screaming. He was 250 pounds, he was officially pre-diabetic, his blood pressure was through the roof, and he was deeply depressed. These weren't 4 separate problems. They were all symptoms of one single issue. His body was in a state of metabolic chaos. So when he went to his doctor for help, this was the response he got. Not, hey, what are you eating? Not, let's figure out what's causing this. Nope. The first and only question was about which pill to prescribe. The goal was to just turn off the warning lights without ever bothering to look under the hood. Thankfully, he didn't just take the pills. He rejected that whole idea of just masking the symptoms, and instead he decided to fix the root cause. He focused on one thing, lowering his insulin and inflammation. And this was the result. 80 pounds of fat that his body had been desperately clinging to just melted away. And look at this timeline. This wasn't some decade-long struggle. This entire life-changing transformation happened in just 9 months. That's what happens when you finally stop fighting a war against your body and you start working with its natural chemistry. And what's really incredible is that this wasn't just about losing weight. It was about losing fat. I mean, to go from 34% body fat
all the way down to a super lean 7%. That just shows his body didn't just get smaller, it got profoundly healthier.
So the big question is, how can we apply this? Well, thinking this way isn't another complicated diet. It's more like we found the body's cheat code.
And it all comes down to this one core belief. Your body is brilliant. It has this incredible built-in intelligence. It actually wants to be healthy. Our job isn't to force it or to punish it. Our job is simply to find and remove whatever is getting in the way of its natural ability to heal itself. I mean, just look at the difference here, side by side. The old way is this constant battle of willpower versus hunger, obsessing over every single calorie. The new way is about healing. It's about focusing on inflammation. And instead of fighting your body, you're finally working together as a team. And here it is. This might be the most freeing idea of all. Stop chasing weight loss. Just stop. Start chasing health. Because when you focus on giving your body what it truly needs to balance its hormones and calm down inflammation, losing fat isn't a struggle anymore. It just happens. It becomes the natural, effortless side effect of being healthy. And so, that's where we'll end. I want to leave you with this one question to really think about. Instead of looking at that extra weight as a personal failure, what if you started seeing it as a message? What is your body, your check engine light, trying to tell you right now?